Hello, ladies and gentlemen. To start celebrating Mr. Surabji's birthday is a considerably difficult task. Mr. Surabji is not an ordinary man, and in spite of all the reservations that you might have, you still have to give the due that is due to him. I consider Mr. I know Mr. Surabji for a long time, ever since 1970. When I went to Bombay, the first time I met him. He was a leading counsel in there was a case of some officer, at the time of separation of the CBR, the Central Board of Revenue. We got to engage Mr. Surabji. And we had a good time. I think I won Then Mr. Surabji became a friend. He is very humble. He is very good at his relations with people. He engages in relations with people all the time. And he is very good at that. He is a great compliment because it's not easy for Bombay to easily mix with the local crowd. But he has mixed with the very used to. We live for long. And yes, we welcome to our group Mr. Venkatramani, who will be very kind to join us in the group vice president. He will introduce himself in a short time.
Exhibitor.
Sir. Thank you.
COVID notwithstanding, I think I would like to say something which probably would please the ears of Mr. Surabji. I have a very close connection with the Baha'is. And a couple of years ago, an organization called the Human Rights Development International was organized a meeting in solidarity with the Baha'is in Iran. I just took over as the president of the organization. I thought we must do that. And we continue to do. And even a couple of months ago, when some of the serious questions in Iran arose about the Baha'is in prison, we took up that issue and then went to the Iranian embassy and keep doing that. I think it's somewhere I got a connection which I could not talk to you earlier. I'm glad you are here today. And thank you for being with us. Mr. Pal wanted to have this very closed door meeting organized. Then I asked him, we must honor Mr. Surabji in a way that will befit not only him but us. And for a variety of reasons, I wish what we could have done in a very big way is not happening. Our collective apologies for that. But I'm sure very soon we'll be able to have a repeat exercise when an audience filled with joy, warmth, and camaraderie would welcome Mr. Swarabji the way we would like to welcome him. And Mr. Pal asked me to say a few words in this gathering. I think you are asking me a squirrel to talk about an elephant. I have too small a squirrel to talk about such a too big an elephant, Mr. Swarabji. If you want to write about him, you can write about him. If you want to talk about him, you can talk about him. But since we are talking in the context of United Lawyers Association, and he is involved with several associations. 1977, Mr. P.P. Rao conceived these associations, and very soon, I know that how close Mr. Rao and Mr. Swarabji became, and close both intellectually and also spiritually in a way. So I think it's about 25 years since Mr. Swarabji has taken over the head of this institution. I would probably like to recount how this association, though not a very well-known or announced, advertised association, but has done some very good job in the sense exchange of views on important judgments of the court, gathering people who could share their views on the productive or the impact of judgments, or judgments could have been possibly delivered in a different way. The association went on doing it case after case, judgment after judgment. And I have kept some record of all that. I think one day I will sit with Swarabji and share them and say, find out whether what I have chronicled fairly reflects what has happened. And I'm sure you'll give me some time. And the United Lawyers Association grew from a very small group of people in Delhi High Court. And then surprisingly, when I was looking on the Google, look into the United Lawyers Association Chronicle, and I thought maybe it's a branch of the association, but it is not. I wish it was a branch. Anyway, it's just in the lighter side. So, but Mr. Swarabji has given us significant leadership as far as the United Lawyers Association is concerned. And I'm sure that by talking to a larger segment of the professionals, and by carrying across to this larger segment those deeper messages which Mr. Swarabji has been able to drill in every case which is argued, and every association which is involved, and every activity which he has been able to share with others. I think that's going to be important for the United Lawyers Association to do in the next couple of months or years as they come. And I still want Mr. Swarabji to continue to bless us in all that activities, and I'm sure he will do that. I would probably like to only share a few incidents in the United Lawyers Association, because talking about the association, when Mr. Rao thought that we need to expand more, we were talking about who should be probably handed over the mantle. And he asked me one day, having been one of his very close, trusted juniors, he asked me one day, I think Mr. Swarabji should take it over. I said, there can't be any other opinion, sir. Today I am sharing this, sir. I am responsible for persuading Mr. Rao that you shall be that person to head this association, and I am too glad you have been with us now. I am not saying this because I want to be praised, but I thought I have a certain amount of satisfaction that you could be with us, lead us, and tell us in what way an association can be conducted. I wish, I also remember when Mr. Rao used to call us for some dinners, I used to tell him, sir, no, sir, you can't equal Mr. Swarabji. The way you could organize people together at the dinner tables, the dinner evenings, and the way you could collect thoughts and sharing of views, that is something fantastic, right? And then nobody can equal it. One of those occasions when Mr. Rao had called us for a dinner, I wrote a small piece in honor of Mr. Rao. So yesterday Mr. Pal asked me, you must come and speak. I was wondering, how do I really write something in honor of Mr. Swarabji? I couldn't really fathom it out. I could probably talk about what he did as a human rights activist or the freedom of expression, or by the time I came to Supreme Court in 1979, he has enormously achieved in the field of fundamental rights and constitutional features, so much that a student of law could lap it up simply and say, here it is. So by the time I came, I could see all that is before me. So I really thank you, sir, once again. As an individual, I say, I wish I would be able to write much more than what I would like to say today. And I'm sure I'll do that very soon. And whichever you would like me to have it done, published, read, like a poetry reading, I would like to do that. But during this COVID, many of us have faced all kinds of challenges. And communication was one such issue. And we thought that the internet, the virtual media is uniting us. Probably it was also not doing so. And occasions I felt that while you are able to look at the pains of others and also look at the joys of others. I sometime in the month of March 2020, I wrote a small piece. It has nothing to do with the United Lawyers Association, nothing to do probably with what we are talking about. But I thought, since Mr. Sorabji has an inner fire which lighted quite a large amount of law and justice, I thought I may be able to read it today. Whether it will fit with the occasion or not, I'm not very clear. I'm not very sure, but let me read it. And the only way I thought I can thank and feel proud of my association with Mr. Sorabji that way. Just give me a few seconds. What is inner fire? With solitude all around me, with the sound of Om permeating the dance of every atom around me, with an unmoving pen on my hands, I struggle. Thoughts collide, words miss their cue. Dimly, but I deeply perceive all creatures. The dumb oxen to the roaring lion, the crawling ant to the soaring eagle, the swinging fish to the soothing birds, live without talking, writing, or refuting explanations. They live. Perhaps all evolution is a motion of mystic thoughts, mysterious and beyond all knowledge. When Rumi wrote, I know Rumi was a favorite poet of Mr. Sorabji. When Rumi wrote, beyond belief and doubt is a vast desert. In the middle of this desert, we find ecstasy. When a mystic arrives there, he bows to the ground. He was also talking like Nichiketa, who wanted to know from the Lord of Death what is truth. Is there an inner fire in all this? And the inner fire makes rules for the world to walk. The inner fire breaks rules, which in bondages keeps the world. Why does this quest for a destination beyond language reside only in some hearts? Perhaps in humble prayer all quench their thirst, or rest content with motions which halt and sleep. On top of the waves we see strikes and clashes, claims and closures, clans and crusades. The hit and run of reason and faith. How deep should one go? To go beyond the circuses of all Piccadillys. The inner fire, is it real? Like the pangs of hunger or the clamors of passion. Beyond my dull faculties and their primitive. The long line of those brave in heart and strong in soul, Mr. Sorabji, who glimpsed the truth but delivered it in the ecstasies of the mind and gave us scrolls of convictions beyond mundane grammar. To challenge them, I must have my inner fire of greater leaves. Or I shall pray that their paths lit up my chained intellect and lead me beyond the wasteland of my ego. The inner fire that engulfs, the inner fire that embraces, the inner fire that kindles, the inner fire that soothes. If my questions are wrong, I must be born again. If my answers are wrong, the inner fire must be born in me. I wait. I thank you, Mr. Sorabji, once again for being with us and the opportunity of being with you today evening. I would probably welcome each and every one of you here to share a few words and thoughts about Mr. Sorabji, and that will be befitting the occasion. Thank you. Mr. Keshav,
It is my proud privilege to be here to be asked to speak on Mr. Soji Sorabji. Soji Sorabji has been a great leader of the bar, but apart from that, he has been a close friend to people, and his work has not been in the court as a attorney general, but in all other fields also, he has been a great giant. He is well known for his views on human rights, where I also shared the platform with him on a number of occasions. I had been one of the senior central government council, and there also I found that the image which he carries with him was remarkable. He has influenced all our lives. His life is a one to be shared by all those who are lawyers or who aspire to be social activities or be concerned with human rights. His contribution to human rights has been tremendous, and I am not sure whether any justice can be done in such a small meeting at this time. The meeting could have been much larger, but because of COVID and other restrictions even.
Respected Soji Sorabji and other dignitaries, I don't think Soji Sorabji needs any introduction. He is so well known, not only in India, but even abroad, and his contribution in the Supreme Court, any field, particularly the human rights, par excellence. He has made his place. He has left, he is, and his contribution will be always a guiding factor for all of us, and particularly the young lawyers who are going to join or who have already joined the bar. I think we have a lot to learn from him. I wish him all the very best and a very happy return of the day. Thank you.
Respected Sri Sorabji and my friends, I came to Delhi in the year 2009. Before that, I was a practicing law of the Calcutta High Court, and I used to come to the Supreme Court from time to time in the 80s and 90s and thereafter. And what really attracted me to him was his completely different style of advocacy. I mean, I heard all the great lawyers of that era, but I mean, for sheer persuasiveness, attraction for the lawyers, how to persuade a judge, never to fight with the court, how to get all the orders he wanted without seeming to actually make any effort to do so, for something that I found remarkable, which I found even after coming to this court in 2009. And I went and introduced myself one day. I had the good fortune to know his daughter Zia in Cambridge, so I went and introduced myself, and I got a lot of affection and guidance from him. And I realized that he was a versatile genius. His work was not just in human rights, administrative law, commercial law, international arbitration and other things. He was a leader in the field of jazz also, and he used to organize all sorts of musical concerts. A man of great vision and extreme fine human qualities, and to interact with him was always a pleasure for a youngster. And I can only felicitate you and say that you have brought a lot of happiness to all the members of the bar who have interacted with you. And I wish you a long life, and felicitations once again.
In fact, everyone has said a lot of good things about you, which you rightly deserve. And I met you 25 years ago, and I was introduced to you as Mr. Rao's daughter-in-law. So you asked me, what's my name? And I said, Mahalakshmi. Then he said, I love your name because I spent my youth at the Mahalakshmi Race Club in Bombay. So that my name always struck a chord there. And whenever we met in court, you would say, "Hello, Mahalakshmi." And for your 75th birthday, I remember I penned down a poetry for you, had it framed, and gave it to you. And I felt very proud because it found a place in your drawing room. And you would fondly ask me every year, "When will you write my next poem?" So I wrote another poem for you when you had your 80th birthday. And Daddy always loved you very much. And you'll always refer to Dad, Mr. P.P. Rao, as the third Parsi. And I also remember anecdotes from Daddy saying that how you went to China and Daddy could not eat any non-veg. And he really loved you. And I wish you a very, very long life, Soli sir, with very good health. Aap jiyo hazaron saal. Ye meri aarzu hai. And thank you, Sena ma'am.
We have Women Research Delhi High Court Bar Association Executive Committee member, Mr. Nikhil Mehta.
Hello, sir. I am Nikhil Mehta, member executive Delhi High Court Bar Association. Thank you so much, B.K. Pal sir, for inviting me here. It's been indeed my pleasure to be here, sir. Since my childhood, I've been watching you, sir, arguing and listening, what or not, sir. It's really my pleasure to be here, sir. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Soli Sarabji sir, Mr. Doraikar sir, and all the guests gathered here. It's my really a pleasure to be here. Of course, I am unable to attend his 9th March birthday party, but today I am here. I'm really glad about it. Almost everything is said about you. Nothing to be said. It is always, it cannot be forget. But I think I should remind, one good episode in his chamber, how he light was. Whenever I used to be there during the lunch time, he used to offer me, "Mayur, kuch lo." I used to say, "No, sir." How he remembered. One day, then he offered me a coffee. Well, coffee is not a non-veg, it's veg. So then I remember how he remembered everything. Why I said no, why I used to say no for lunch, because he knows I am a non-veg. I am not taking non-veg. I am pure vegetarian. But it is not like that. Sometimes you used to have a vegetarian dish also. But it's I already have a lunch, then I can't. That's the reason I didn't. But one day he so light, he said, "When you have a coffee, it's vegetarian, not a non-veg." I was so taken up. Anyway, wish you all the best. Have a good, wonderful life ahead. I still remember your contribution in Bumai's case. That was my first case attended with you as a junior. Really, it went on for days together. I think 1 month above, beyond 1 month. It's wonderful, excellent preparations, and it's a milestone. It's a good development of law on democracy and how it is to be maintained, democratic value. Really, apart from many other, there are so many fundamental rights on this freedom of expressions, and so many things, so many chapters are there which I notice him arguing. It's a wonderful. But as the Bumai case was the exceptional case. Anyway, always much.
Mr. Sorabji, former Attorney General of India, Mr. Dholakia, Senior Advocate, Mr. Venkatramani, Senior Advocate, learned, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I had the great opportunity of serving you whenever you came home. It was my privilege, and it was always insightful to be with you, even as a young little lad. Sir, I remember before joining law in 2014, we were at India Habitat Center, and my grandfather was there, you were there, we were attending a function of Dr. Madan Mohan, who is an eye specialist and a Padma Bhushan awardee. So what happened there was, after the function, you requested my granddad to drop you back home, and he of course obliged, and he told you in the car while we were en route to your home that my grandson has decided to do law, and he asked me to seek your blessings before entering law school. And I remember your very poignant words in the car. You said, just remember one thing, treat it as a profession. This is not a trade. Don't run after money. Do not ever chase clients. Don't resort to sharp practices. Make your mark. Learn things the right way, because once you do that, there'll be no going back from it. And I think treating this more as a profession is, I think, the most important thing all of us need to do, and especially youngsters like me who are just 1 or 2 years into the bar. We need to follow this advice that you gave it so kindly to me. And so much has been said about your human rights activism, your role in the UN as Special Rapporteur, as the Attorney General twice for India. You have done remarkable path-breaking work, sir. You inspire so many of us, you motivate so many of us. I know, I mean, for a matter of fact, everyone knows, but I should just state this: if we have the Passports Act today of 1967, it is because of Mr. Sorabji, who argued Satwan Singh in 1967 and said this is at the whims and fancies of the executive that people are being granted passports, and they should be codified, should be regulated, there should be a law for it. And Mr. Sorabji was the front runner in that legal battlefield. And there are so many of Mr. Sorabji's contributions that can't even be penned down. It will be a huge, voluminous book if we pen down the number of cases that Mr. has appeared in and laid down the law. And so much of what the law is today is because of his contributions, his arguments, which have been recorded in the judgments. And special mentions have been made of Mr. Sorabji. I mean, it's remarkable, sir. We wish you a very, very long, happy, and a very content life. May you keep inspiring us, and may you always be healthy and in the pink of health, sir. Thank you very much.
You see, I have to make a small thing. Mr. Soliji Sorabji's contribution to the United Lawyers Association has been in bringing out the journal Law and Justice. The articles contained therein were selected by Mr. Sorabji himself, of which in the editorial board, and he himself got it printed and read everything, and then the journal was out. Secondly, the important contribution in law, as far as I am concerned personally, I got a matter filed like on the Kedarnath Valley matter. When the Kedarnath, that volcano and whole flood came, a number of people were displaced in the whole area. A writ petition was filed in the Supreme Court with a very sketchy remark and all that. And I came through, then I drafted the whole thing and showed it to Sorabji. He himself volunteered to come. He asked me to get it listed as soon as possible. So I got it listed, and he appeared in the matter, and he got the matter tagged down with the main matter, and the matter was heard for quite some time here. Then it was transferred to Uttarakhand High Court, and there it was, judgment has come. Thirdly, the United Lawyers Association is honoring because Mr. Sorabji has been very kind enough to hold executive committee meetings in its Sundarnagar office. and also come to the Delhi High Court Bar Association canteen even to attend the meetings. And then he shifted to Motilal Nehru, where he was Attorney General. He called meetings of the Executive Committee in the Motilal, his residence, and the meetings were decided, and issues were decided, and things were done everything in a very democratic way. And in this way, the matters affecting the law, issues in controversy were discussed in open at Indian Law Institute, where many speakers, eminent speakers spoke, and Sri P.P. Rao, our former president, who contributed in his own way, in a very big way, to the United Lawyers Association, and handed over this to Mr. Sorabji, and introduced myself to Mr. Sorabji, that now this work is to be done by you, and you carry on, and I will be there as a consultant. Whenever you want, I will do that. So this is my, just say a few words about it, about Mr. Sorabji. I wish him a long life, and amongst us, Mrs. Sorabji has also come. We should welcome her with a clap. And I am very kind. She is very kind enough to come and give us her time. And then we have to be thankful to Mr. K.C. Mittal, who is the Chairman Bar Council of India, who has given his precious time to come and say a few words in the honor of Mr. Sorabji. And then Mr. Dholakia, he is our senior vice president. And that is why we requested him to spare a few time to preside over the meeting, and also Mr. Vandhamani, who has introduced the guest. Thank you very much. Now, we have to present the plate to Mr. Sorabji.
Thank you very much. We have a gift for Mr. Sorabji. Mr. Pal to give it.
Now, can I request Mr. Ananda Venkatarani? He is a young member of the bar and association of Mr. Ramani. So, attain him.
I'll give it.
I will.
Right. You can give it.
Very well, join me. So, Mrs. Sorabji. Mrs. Sorabji, this is.
Passed down on your behalf.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Ma'am?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Very nice to see you. Yes, 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 yes.
I'm supposed to speak, but you gave me so many undeserved details and compliments that I'm interceded. Except to say that Those don't even understand. They have to make money. But if the object is to make fortune, mini fortune, and double fortune, then you're in the wrong profession. The essence and the spirit of the Vedanta profession is service to humanity. Service to people in need, people in trouble, without making any distinction regarding race, color, or occupation. That's the spirit in which Vedanta Association functions, and I hope and pray that it continues in that spirit. And it will, with all of your cooperation, and all of you who have given your precious time today, and precious time in other ways, in making the association a success. Please remember, money is not everything in this world. As I said, you have to make money, no question about it, but that is not the sole aim and object. And that's the reason why I was attracted to Vedanta Law's profession, and I gave some portion of my time to the profession. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say. I would say more, but I said you really received it. So that's it. Thank you.
Proceeding the close. Thank you very much.
Hello, there is a tea, a small tea, all of you can join. Mr. Swarajji will also, we will bring him here and please join for a tea.
His son got designated.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Yeshwar, can I just give you a call as a video call? With 135 my number ends, sir.
Rao, you will be very fresh up there. Nice.